Morning, guys. How are y'all? Who didn't make it to the concert last night? Anybody not there? It was all right, man. It was fun.
I was there.
You were missed. He was there. I was there enjoying the show.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. They fed me rum.
Might have to do that again.
I didn't object. There you go. Who's first time? Y'all having a good time?
Y'all lying.
Sebastian crooning you?
Yes.
Backstage? I'm like, oh, it's getting warm in here.
It still smells like Sebastian up here.
Right around here. I don't know what he was doing, but
You don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Well, what's funny is when he came off stage after he was singing, his waist was still moving. And I was like, Sebastian, you forgot to turn that off. Oh, sorry.
Good old bastard. Well, guys, we haven't seen you since Houston, I think was the last time we got to visit. Anybody come from Houston? Anybody there with us? Yes, of course. Vancouver.
Michigan.
Right.
That's not Houston. I'm fairly certain that's not even close.
It's close. It's close.
Austin!
Austin. I wish I was there.
You know, we were just in Houston. It would have been a lot easier.
Are you dealing with a bunch of snow in South Carolina? Who else came from the crazy,
Yeah, anybody escaping weather right now?
Minus 45.
Minus 45? Did you come from Antarctica?
Canada.
Where?
Canada.
What part?
The middle part.
The middle
Cold
part.
part.
Oh, like Thunder Bay or something?
Yeah.
Winter Peg?
I'm from the U.S. Where? The middle. East middle. I'm from the Middle East. Well, middle. From the.
What is it? You got the West, the Midwest, the Middle East, and the East. Somebody said to me, I'm like, I don't think it works like that.
How are y'all liking the show? Have Tim Amundsen back.
How about that episode this week? I'm still hurting from that fight scene.
I'm still hurting from the knife.
Oh.
I still am. I still can't stretch.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Fun story.
for those who didn't watch the episode, please cover your ears. For those who did watch the episode,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
This is what happens when we come to the concert the night before.
Yeah. Exactly, that's what I have to do me rum. So, at the end of the episode, when Dean is done doing what he needed to do, he comes downstairs with a big old knife, with Kane's big old knife, right? And there's a scene, well, we can show. So, you come down.
I don't want to do this.
I have to demonstrate because otherwise it sounds weird. Like, how did I stab myself?
Is this you like way up getting?
This is a knife. So he's holding the knife. It's a good knife. So he's holding the knife, and he's supposed to be spent, and we're waiting down there with Castiel and Sam. And as he's wandering down the stairs, he starts to collapse. And so Sam has to kind of like carry him.
Yeah.
But the knife.
And this was, I don't know if you guys saw it. It was bigger than this microphone, and it was real.
Yeah.
And
So
what they do is they'll dull the edges on a lot of the ones that we use on the show, so they're not super sharp unless they have to be. They're slightly dull. No,
but it wasn't a bone knife.
This was an actual
Kane's knife.
an actual fixed blade knife.
Yeah.
But they don't dull the tips. So it was an actual fixed blade, and his knee, and I felt it, just
I like
boom,
sort of did that to the knife.
went right in, and I was like,
Sort of like.
I just freezed up. I'm like, I know that's inside. That's in his leg right now. And he hugged me, and he kept hugging. I'm like, does he not know that there's a knife? There's a knife inside his
Dude,
knee.
there's a knife in your
Yeah, there's a knife in your leg, man. And then he kept doing it. I'll give it to him.
And they were like,
Tough guy, but.
and so they call cut, and Ackles immediately was like, dude, you all right? And everybody's like, what happened? What do you mean you all right? It was just a scene where like he keeps you from falling. He's like, no, he got stabbed. You all right? And I was like, yeah. I was like, that hurt, man. And we looked down, and I'm wearing jeans, and I'm wearing Sam jeans or whatever, and there's a hole in the pants.
Sam jeans. You can get them at Old Navy. I'm good.
These are Jared jeans. Yes, I'm wearing the wardrobe, obviously. And there's a hole in the pants and like a dark spot growing on the leg. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm bleeding. And sure enough, they ended up wrapping it up with, because we had to keep shooting. So I have this big hole in my leg still. But they ended up wrapping it up because we had to keep shooting. But the blood, it was bleeding enough that the blood would just go outside the wrapping.
Yeah.
So when I had to keep doing it, now there were like blood spots here and here, because that's where the gauze ended. So
it was probably at least a half inch.
Yeah, it was deep.
Like it was enough to where I was like, oh, he's got a knife in his leg. And I'm still holding it.
Fun time. So we're glad you liked it.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. I see a hand way up there. Hi. Sure.
Okay, so have you guys ever had anyone that you know of name a child after you?
Do a child at us? Throw a child at us?
Name a child after you.
Name a child after
Name a child after us?
Because I have.
Yeah.
No way.
I named my son Dean.
You named your son Dean?
After Gilmore Girls, right? Thank you. That's cool. Dean's a cool name.
It's a good name.
We've had a few names.
That's very cool. I like the name. I've had a good time playing Dean for the past 10 years.
I hope he doesn't grow up short like this guy.
It's true. And have a brother that looks like that.
That's awesome. Yes. Yeah. Is that code for something?
You want to show a Texas-themed candy?
Yeah.
Okay, my dad already ate some. I just
Who ate some?
Her dad already ate it.
Your dad ate?
I saw them in my kitchen, and I'm like, must have been a souvenir. So
Yes. Texas fireballs. Hopefully it's like the Dr. McGillicuddy's fireball that we use.
really good news part.
Product is extremely hot, recommended for Texans only. I hope your dad is a Texan. Is your dad a Texan?
He's from Missouri.
He can't eat, did he not read the label? He's gonna hurt himself. No, is he here? Is he here? Exactly, he's like in the hospital eating Texas candy. That's what he gets. Can you do this?
Yeah. Nope.
Thank you so much. Rad. Thanks. Yes.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
All right, so this is a question for both of you that's kind of towards Jensen.
You can do it, I'll rest.
Take a knee. You're a good knee.
We saw the Dean who was kind of calm last season, and this season he kind of just had a vendetta for whatever reason. He wanted to destroy his bloodline. Do you think that Dean could become a demon and chill out and like live the rest of the series like that? Or
Like Kane?
like when he was kind of normal and not crazy? So do you think Dean could live?
Good question. Did y'all hear what was going on? Basically, Kane, with the mark of Kane, though it ruined him, he still was able to kind of remain a demon, but be contained at his home before Dean went to go seek out the blade and the mark of Kane. So she's basically saying, is it possible Dean could do the same thing and let the mark of Kane turn him into what it turned Kane into, but
Yeah.
kind of still find his...
Get like a nice little house on the prairie somewhere and just live out my demon days.
Maybe like you want to hunt, it seems like, but Dean's kind of like struggling with that. So I want to know if he thinks that he could just kind of chill out and hunt and be a demon, or if he's going to go back to being Dean and just do whatever the hell he wants, basically.
I think it's well, I mean, that's the big struggle this season for Dean, especially is he is struggling with containing what he's trying to contain, what the mark is doing to him. And I don't think that, just giving into it and retiring is on the table for him. Not to mention, I don't think that Sam will let him. I think Sam's still going to fight to get rid of this thing. Dean's going to fight to contain it as long as he can until they figure something out, which they're exhausting every method, every effort to do so. I think, I don't think that is an option to just be complacent yet. I think it's going to be a fight and a struggle until something happens. What that is,
We'll find out.
I don't know. We'll find out by the end of the season, though, I'll tell you that.
Let's go back to this side. You already got a question. Fine, I'll take it. Yeah, that seems important.
It is important. Okay, so you know when you were consumed by Lucifer, and you jumped into the hole, and you were able to control him, how come when you were possessed by the angel that he put in you, Gabriel, that you were not able to stop yourself from killing the prophet?
That's a good question.
Because Lucifer's supposed to be also more high and mighty, right?
You know, I was only able to control Lucifer for a blink, you know? Because I was only able to control him long enough to get into the hole to go down to Hell Cage. So I think if Sam had known, I think Sam was more aware when Lucifer was possessing him that he was being possessed. They're both angels, right? Gadriel and Lucifer are both angels. So it was similar, I would say. But I think he just he wasn't really aware of the Gadriel bit. Because hadn't Gadriel wiped his mind? Yeah, Sam didn't know when Gadriel was possessing him, but he did know about Lucifer. So I think he was able to control him. Yes. And I'll go right there with you.
Hi there.
Hi.
So I was wondering, do y'all actually know how to work on cars, or when your head's under the Impala, or you just like...
Work on cars? I certainly can't work on it like Dean can.
Work on the car? I don't work on the car. We got people for that. Although, sometimes I think I could probably do a better job. Yeah, we've got several cars on the show. One, the hero car, and that's the one that if it's not on set when I have to drive, I throw a temper. There are reasons. The hero car is very, very loud. It's a very large engine in it, and it's a little tricky to drive too. So if somebody else is driving it, or we've got sound issues, if we're shooting in the neighborhood, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, then firing up the 502 is probably not a good idea. So we'll use the puny engine. And then I'm embarrassed if anybody's, if there happens to be any onlookers watching, we're like, oh, look, there's Supernatural. Oh, there's the car. Why does it sound like a Yugo?
This is a true story. So my first car was a '69 Camaro. I still have it. And it was a carbureted engine.
You've driven it in 30 years.
I haven't driven it in probably 6 years. It's been getting restored. Probably 7 years. But I had spark plugs, a fan belt, and a wrench in the glove box. And if something was happening with the car, I'm at school and school's over and it's done, I'd be like, I got this. I'd open the hood up, I'd check with the carburetor, make sure that the little flippy flappy is flippy and floppy. Make sure the spark plug was doing its thing. If the fan belt wasn't broken, I'd be like,
flippy flappy and the sparky thing.
I knew, I think one time I was able to, because the carburetor back in the day, it wouldn't always, you'd push the gas, but it wouldn't let you fuel into the engine. So you'd go and you just kind of flippy floppy a little bit, make sure that it's loose. That's a car technical mechanical term. And then it'd be like, spark plugs are firing. Let me try the carburetor again and kind of loosen it up, spray some WD-40 on it. And if the fan belt was there and intact and hadn't come off, then I'd be like, I don't know what to do. Dad, car's broke. So I knew a little bit, but these days, if you can work on a car that's made post 1995, then you're like a computer genius, because it's all...
Yeah, you can't work on cars now today. It's all computers.
And you can, in those old school, especially like the old school Chevys, Fords, Mopar, with a gigantic engine under the hood, you can still fit like 3 bodies. I've tried. These days, everything is so compact that as soon as you've opened the hood, you can't put a piece of paper in there, or like the hood won't close. You're like, okay, this is really in there. So these days, cars are not really made to be worked on.
Yes, right.
If you could write a series finale, how would you like to see it end for Cass and Dean?
For who? For Cass and Dean.
Cass and Dean.
That's a good question. We've thought about like series finales and season finales before. My opinion, personally, was always that we needed to die fighting. Like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, you know?
Yeah.
Where there's something, because my argument was always, if Sam and Dean and Cass aren't dead, then why aren't they fighting? So, you know, if the show just ended and we were like at McDonald's or something, or if we had the Sopranos ending and it just kind of cut out, people would be like, wait, they're still probably doing some cool shit, like stuff. Like, they must be doing some cool stuff still, like, turn the cameras on. So, I feel like we have to die.
Yeah, I think a big Blaze of Glory thing is certainly a good option. You know, there's probably some trickier storylines that could be written about it. You know, if Sam or Dean goes first, and then the other one is, you know, kind of like what's that movie with the dogs? One died, the other one died like 2 weeks later.
All dogs go to heaven?
Where the red fern grows. Maybe it's, you know, you could go like a sentimental route like that, like what's the point, like I've lost my brother, and then, you know, that's kind of the reason I fought. But I don't think that'll happen, because it has happened, and the brother never gives up. And I think that's kind of you know, one of the log lines of our show is, you know, you don't ever give up, no matter how dire the stakes are, how horrible the odds are. It's you just keep fighting. So I think they both got to go out and one last kind of blaze of glory, or maybe just like Thelma and Louise right off the cliff
with the Impala. Once again, that
in the
I
Grand
could not
Canyon.
work on. If the Impala went over a cliff, I could not fix it.
If I'm going, I'm taking the car with me.
Ain't nobody driving this.
Yes. Glasses. Yes.
And the shirt.
The fully clothed human being right there.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, my question is it's kind of for you, and then I'm going to ask for another one, so it can come
Ooh, it's like a twofer.
So, while you're on set, do you ever get your hair braided? If so, have you ever braided his hair?
His hair? Oh no, I will touch that. Are you kidding me? This looks like a Picasso. Who would mess with that?
I don't think I.
Sorry, I would just bronze it.
I don't get it braided. I think the craziest thing that's ever happened on set was the LARPing episode. We had like I think it's called, it wasn't a Top Knot, which is a funny video. There's new Top Knot videos. Are y'all familiar with Top Knot? Does anybody have a Top Knot?
Yes. No.
You don't have a Top Knot. Yeah, but I mean, like, there's a guy.
Apparently it's like an epidemic in
New Zealand?
In New Zealand, this hairstyle.
So this barber's going around and like, they're videoing it. He's cutting off people's top knot and going, top knot!
So this is what we do on set. We just do YouTube videos.
I didn't have a top knot, but I had like a little, I don't know what it's called.
A man bun.
Man bun? Is that a mun?
These are things I don't have to worry about.
Yet.
I mean, who wouldn't want to braid your hair?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I want to braid it. Thank you. Yes.
I was wondering if you had any good pranks, anything that's gone on recently. Are we going to get any more dance videos at the end in the gag reel?
Harlem Shake. Have there been? You know, I think we don't necessarily always plan pranks that kind of just will happen, right? Mostly when Misha's on set, so we can try and ruin his performance. But I feel like this season, I do think we have some great outtakes coming. Oh, we had the one prank on Britt. Poor girl.
I think you told that one.
I think for those who haven't heard, so the episode where, what's the character name? Britt's character from Bitten? And then she comes back. Kate. But that's her sister's name. Whatever her name was, the werewolf episode where it's her sister doing
Her name was
it.
Kate.
Where is Kate?
In the show it's Kate? What's her sister's name?
Her sister's name was not Kate.
Tasha, that's right. Good call. So there's this scene where we're sitting in the diner and she's telling this like 4-page story about like what happened and how she had gotten, her sister gotten sick and she turned her to save her. And for some reason, it was just such a long monologue that like, I think she spit a little bit out of her mouth. And she was mortified and the camera was on her. And she was like, oh my God, did that just happen? And we're like, not a big deal, not a big deal. And so, you know, we kind of chuckle and then she finishes her coverage and about an hour later, cameras are now on Jensen.
No, it was full drool. And I mean, like just talking and just like a full drool. Again, going back to Jared's hair. I'm pretty sure that was the cause of it. And it was just literally full drool. And I don't even think she noticed because she was so into this. She was into the story. She's a really good actress. And it's just I mean, her face just started leaking. And so, you know, Jared and I were both like, whoop.
Did that just happen?
And we just kept, and she kept going. It's like, all right, here we go. Continue on. And so then they cut it. And she's like, is this spit? I'm like, no, you drooled all over the table. Yeah, so then they were shooting her coverage. They were on our backs and we were on her face. And then when they turned around to shoot our side of the scene, Jared and I both, just before they marked it, they called action, just took a little sip of water and put it down and just held it in our mouths. And then when it was time for us to speak, we just like,
water everywhere. We had to like change our wardrobe because there was water.
But it was worth it.
It was worth it.
And it should be on the gag reel.
We'll have some funny things. And the young lady right in front.
What was your favorite song that was featured on the show?
Favorite song
Favorite
featured on
song?
the show?
I have two of my favorite music cues. One is Styx, Renegade. And the other is David Bowie when he's fighting the fairy. Those two for me made me laugh. Renegade I love because that was just like, I think you and I watched it together. We were like, that's badass. Like, that is, like, I want to be on that show. Oh, I am on that show. And then Ground Control to Major Tom. That made me laugh out loud. And I read the script. Like I knew what was going to happen. But the whole scene with the microwave and the little.
Yeah, that song was not. It didn't say that. Sometimes they write, you know, a song in the script. You know, like I think they wrote for Weekend at Bobby's. They wrote that it was going to be The Gambler was going to be playing and stuff.
Oh, nice.
But sometimes these are decisions that are made in post-production and we don't know about them until we see the episode. So that was one that we were both really excited about. I think I'd have to say both of those are two of my favorites, but I don't know. I have a place in my heart for Eye of the Tiger, I guess. Whenever an impromptu music video happens. You know.
That's a funny story, the Shake It Off story.
Do we have to? Yes, I do. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to tell the story. I don't know if you read the fine print.
Did we know? So was it supposed to be Taylor Swift in the original script? Or it was just supposed to be like a goofy song? Or there was no song?
It wasn't even in the script.
That's right. So you know how young Dean says like, I was on the bus and a Taylor Swift song came on and I liked it, man. I liked it a lot. So that was a funny part of the script. But then the script ended with us just driving off after we dropped off the young version of guest star. But then, Tina, we get a phone call 2 months later, like, hey, we're shooting some additional scenes for Serge's episode. It's going to be at the end. We were like, all right, like, is there a script? Like, no, there's not a script. It's really just a couple shots. Like, you don't have any lines. So there's no, all right, or whatever. And so we show up in the morning, and they explain to us, like, what's going to happen. That it's going to be like a Taylor Swift song. We're like, whoa, what? And so they were like, yeah, it's going to be funny because young Dean talked about liking it, so now Dean's going to hear it and not turn it off, and it's going to be funny. And so...
And I was like,
he really wanted it.
No,
so the first couple of takes, he turned it on and been like, just kidding. And then drove out. But then finally, I think you gave him one. We were like,
well, Serge was like, yeah, the director was like begging me. He's like, please, just do one the way that they want it. So I'm like, I'm gonna give you one, but it's gonna be really bad. And is that the one they used? I didn't see the end of it.
It is funny.
Of course, it's not the one they used.
Yeah. It is funny, but you know.
I thought it was way more funny than going like, hey, I'm just kidding, and then like, boom, putting on Metallica or something and driving off. But I don't cut the show. Yes, right here.
That was awesome.
So I was curious. I know in the very first episode of Supernatural, Arizona was actually mentioned as one of the biggest places for supernatural stuff. It always made me sad the boys have never actually came to Arizona.
Is that true? Have we not?
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you one reason. Is because it's hard to make Vancouver, Canada look like Arizona.
That's true.
Seriously, it is. That's one of the reasons, and that's why we were like, oh, we should go on. We should actually do like a road show and go to places that geographically we can't make look like, those places in Vancouver. So I'm sorry, I interrupted your question.
Oh no, I knew that it would be pretty hard to obviously come all the way out here just for an episode or something. But it did make me curious, like, obviously film in Vancouver, but how often do you guys travel, for shoots, around Vancouver or near, things like that?
It's always around Vancouver.
Yeah, pretty much part of the going is maybe an hour and a half away.
Here's to put it into perspective. We had, you probably know, an episode where we're supposed to walk on the WB lot in Los Angeles.